This entitled dad thinks he can have whatever he likes, including other people's cars. So what can this clever mechanic do to make sure that he protects his property and avoids further conflict? Happy birthday if today's your birthday, and on with the revamped show. I work for a local paintball and airsoft field as a referee at their sales and rental booth. We have a couple of events every weekend. Sundays are always a lot of fun. We host walk-ons, and the people who come are usually experienced, polite, and sportsmanlike. But on Saturdays, the freaking birthday parties. Some of them are okay, mostly because kids just hide behind a wall for the whole game. Most times, however, it's absolutely miserable. I have a few stories like this, but here's one of them. This happened a few years ago. In the story is the entitled parent, the entitled parent's kid, 11 at the time, and my friend, one of the co-workers. The kid forgets to put his barrel cover on when he enters the rest area. I run up to him, grab his marker, paintball gun, and place the plastic sock over the muzzle, as I was trained to do. Hey, you gotta put this on when you come over to this area, buddy.
Oh, okay, I understand. I'm sorry.
No worries, bro. It's just a safety thing. Are you having a good time? I didn't want him to be upset, so I wanted to be friendly.
Yeah, so much fun.
The entitled parent was watching this exchange from a distance. The kid walks back to them, and she sternly said something to him. She gave me a really dirty glance, and I mean dirty. Then she turned back around like it never happened. Shortly afterwards, we were having a kids versus parents game. I decided to join the kids team to even the playing field. I ended up in a small bunker with the kid. He hit the entitled parents twice in the thigh. I laughed and gave him a high five.
Oh, jeez. Why would you do that? That's not fair at all. You're like a freaking pro. I never did this before. Learn some respect.
Respectfully, this is how the game is played, and you did know what you signed up for. Besides, it wasn't me who got you, it was the kid over here. Please calm down.
Don't lie to me. This might be my first time, but I know more about it than you do.
Mom, it was me. Please stop yelling. It's just a game. I'm sorry I hurt you.
The parent to the kid.
Oh my gosh. Now you're all buddy-buddy with this jerk?
At this point, the entitled parent took her mask off. I blew my whistle immediately and yelled, "Cease fire." Hey, what's wrong? Yeah, she took her mask off. I had to stop the game. Ma'am, you can't take your mask off mid-game. Please follow me to the rest area.
Don't tell me what to do. What are you gonna do? Shoot me again? Yeah, right. Just leave me alone.
The entitled parent put her mask back on and went back behind the tree. I guess she expected us to resume play and pretend she never got hit, or more importantly, never took her mask off. Also, the other kids and parents were starting to walk up to where the refs were, so there was quite a scene. I told everyone else to head back to the rest area, and we would begin the next game shortly. Ma'am, I'll get fired if I resume play right now. You've already taken your mask off, and it's my job to take you back to the rest area. You will be able to join back in the next game.
What difference does it make? Can you please just leave me alone now?
Actually, no, I can't. I also really don't want to curse you out and force you down to the rest area in front of all your friends and your kids. Unless you want to be removed from the property and your son to come with you, I'd suggest you follow me.
Shut the heck up. I'm not scared of your crap. Just go away and keep playing the game like jerks.
Another parent comes up to console the entitled parent, asking us what happened. We told him exactly what just went down, but she disagreed.
They both shot me after I fell down. My mask fell off and they almost hit my eye.
The other parent seemed to be able to tell that she was lying, as he gave me a look that seemed to say, "Sorry, she's an absolute moron," and started to walk back down with the others. Oh, come on, you're full of crap. Your son seems like he's having a good time, and the only reason I'm not dragging you off the property by your hair is because I don't want to ruin it for him. The entitled parent lost it. She was mad. She raised her marker and shot my friend 4 times, once in the groin and 3 times in the stomach. I grabbed her marker and ripped it out of her hands.
Ow, why do you keep hurting me, you freaking jerk face? I paid for all of this. Quit being a jerk and start playing fair.
You shot him for no reason other than you being a total piece of crap. Get out now before we have to call the police. My friend was now on the phone with the manager. Super cool manager basically told us that we should do whatever necessary to remove her from the field because she was a safety issue. That basically meant we could be physical and not get fired. Friend hangs up and turns back to EP. I'm giving you one last chance to act like a freaking adult before I start treating you like the dog you are.
How dare you? I give you my business And this is how you treat me?
Funnily enough, she didn't pay for anything. The birthday boy's parents covered the prices for everyone. Have your way then. My friend attempts to hold her arms behind her back and escort her back down the hill. She broke free and started trying to hit him. He responded by gently but firmly pushing her away, and she slid about 6 feet down the hill.
First you shoot me, and then you cut my hand, and now you freaking ruin my expensive jeans.
All of this could have been avoided if you acted like a darn adult.
I'm the freaking mature one here. Get off your high horse, you jerk. I'm suing all of you.
Note that we weren't actually being super physical. We very much so could have been, but we took her threats of suing fairly seriously. She was really crying at this point. I don't think she realized that she had nowhere else to go but down the hill because we had to stop the game. She kept trying to break free and run back up. We eventually got her back down to the rest area. She had a nice long talk with the manager, who later told us she was trying not to laugh. He gave her a $20 off coupon just to shut her up. Little did she know, it was expired. I felt bad for the kid, so I gave him a code for some free stuff from our website. In the end, me, my friend, and the manager had a good laugh at the whole thing. We did have to file an official report stating what happened, so that just in case she did sue us, we had official records of the event. We actually found her Twitter, and she said that we caused irreparable trauma, and that she would be taking immediate legal action. We never heard from anyone representing her. We did, however, get an email from the birthday boy's father, who said she tends to be overdramatic and stubborn, and that he apologizes for what she did. So last week, the kid came back on the field for an airsoft event and recognized me. He asked me if I ever posted the story anywhere, and I said no. He told me to put it on r/entitledparents, so here I am. Thanks for reading. I wonder if as stories like this continue to grow in popularity, if that'll be a common thing people say. Oh man, there's such an entitled parent that needs to go on r/entitledparents. Some people go on complete power trips in a paintball field, so it's no surprise that it's any different for an entitled parent. Like, I'm not surprised at all that she would use the marker against the referee. That would have been a pretty funny sight to see her though, being tackled and trying to be dragged off the field, continually breaking free and running back like a stubborn child. We've all seen little kids do it in supermarkets and wherever else, so to watch a grown adult do it would have just been hilarious. Now, anyone that knows me or has met me before knows that I have a nearly fully restored 1981 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 in bright yellow. I bought it off some dude going through a divorce as a half-finished project. It wasn't in bad shape, but the interior was bombed out and had some sloppy work that needed correcting. No big deal for me since I'm a mechanic by trade. It's my first real project and the first car I owned that wasn't a hand-me-down from my grandparents, and I am proud of it. Last November, I was stopped at a gas station on my way home from work for some gas and an after-work snack when a dude, entitled Dad, in his mid-40s to early 50s, walks over to eye up my ride. This is nothing new to me. These late second-gen Camaros are rare to see in my region, and it is painted in an eye-catching color. I pay for my chips and soda, walk on over, and strike up a conversation. Turns out his first car was a 79 Berlinetta, and we talked shop for a while. That is until this prissy-looking teenager, entitled Brat, walks up beside him. He then looks at me, looks back at my car, then back to me and asks, "It's definitely beautiful. How much you want for it?" What? "How much do you want for your car? I can give you cash, or check if you prefer." He proceeds to whip out his checkbook and a stuffed money clip full of Benjamins. "Sorry dude, it's not for sale."
Come on, everything's got a price. I could do 6 grand right here.
I hold back laughter since the engine alone costs 6k. Yeah, sure, I'll sell you a car with over $14,000 of work and valued at $23,000 for 6 grand. And while you're at it, I have a bridge to sell you too. At this point, EB chimes in.
"Daddy, you said you'd buy me a nice car. I want a cool car."
ED strokes his daughter's hair and quietly says something to the effect of,
"Don't worry, sweetie. We'll get you this one."
He turns back to me.
"Can't you cut us a little slack for the lovely lady?"
No, still not for sale. He's now getting visibly irritated.
"You're going to refuse to sell me a car for my daughter? Really? You should just get rid of it. Look at how dirty you are. That car is too nice for someone like you. I bet you don't even know how to take care of it."
"Yeah, this car is too cool for you."
Now I'm getting angry. Like I mentioned before, I'm a mechanic. I'm coming home from work, still in my work clothes, with an ASE patch on my shoulder, with a bit of grime on my arms and face from a long day of fixing other people's crappy cars. There should be no mistaking that I know how to take care of my ride, or so I thought. I composed myself quickly. Sir, I've done all the work to this car. I put the engine and transmission in it. I rebuilt the suspension, I detailed the paint, and I restored the interior all on my own. I think I know how to take care of the vehicle I basically rebuilt from the ground up.
No, you didn't. That work looks too good for you to have done it.
Yeah, I did.
Whatever. Just sell it. You can find another project.
Let me think. No. Now take your daughter and get lost. I'm not budging. At this point, the entitled brat is whining to daddy that he said he would sell it, and I thought I maybe saw a tear in her eye. And then the entitled dad turned red in the face and started tearing into me about how I was selfish, and about how his little girl deserved the car more than I ever did. And then jabs that I probably made the whole thing up about being a project, and that I probably stole it. I was glaring at him. Now I will definitely not sell it to you. After all, your brat will probably wreck it in a couple of weeks anyway. Now I'm tired and I'm going to go home. At this point, I'm opening up the door and getting in while they both are screaming every insult in the book at me, while I just ignore it. I wasn't lying when I said I was tired, and now I just wanted to go home and have a beer. Now, I forgot to mention that this gas station happens to be situated at a county border, next to an exit ramp for a very busy interstate. It's a local hangout for the state police and sheriff's deputies from both counties. And guess who just rolled in? A sheriff's deputy from the county I work in. The same deputy who entrusts me with their patrol car's maintenance, who I have become quick friends with and is friends with everyone at work, and got glimpses into the progress on my Camaro. We'll call him Sheriff Friend. He notices the two screaming at me and walks over to ask what the problem was. The entitled dad looks at me and gets a little smirk on his face.
Officer, I'd like to report that this kid's car is stolen, and I'd like to press charges for calling my daughter a brat.
Sheriff Friend looks at me, then at the car, and then bursts out laughing. Sir, this car definitely belongs to him. I've seen him working on it before at the shop he works at. He turns to me. Hey, are these folks giving you a hard time? Yeah, they're flipping out because I wouldn't sell it to them.
Really?
Yep. I proceeded to fill him in on everything that had happened. He turns back around to face the entitled dad. Sir, you gave him an offer and he refused. You then proceeded to verbally abuse him worse than the jab he made at your daughter. I believe you should just leave. The entitled dad looks shocked and his mouth imitates a goldfish for a few seconds before he hangs his head and mutters, okay, and walks off with the entitled brat, now wailing that she didn't get in my car. I thanked him and we said our goodbyes. And just as a final jab, I cue up "You Can't Always Get What You Want" by the Rolling Stones as I start to pull out. Entitled dad immediately recognized the song I was playing and flipped me off. Yeah, nobody got arrested or got the crap beaten out of them, but it's easily one of the most surreal moments I've had in my life. Oh, and I had a nice relaxing drive home after that, and a quiet evening watching TV. The entitled parent should be the #1 case study for psychological projection. They're constantly accusing others of being selfish whenever their demands aren't met. But really, what is selfishness? Every human being acts in their own self-interest. You can act in your own self-interest that harms others or that does no harm to anyone. If you just want to keep your own stuff like this guy wanted to keep his car, yes, you're acting in your own self-interest, but you're not causing harm to anyone else. If you demand or make threats of violence to claim other people's property against their consent, you're acting in your own self-interest, but you're causing harm to others. That's what true selfishness really is, and we call it entitlement. Hey Voicey, been a fan for a while and finally worked up the courage to post. Hope you like it. So I've been working at a restaurant/winery as a house worker for a little over 2 years. The job was fine for the pay and even made a few long-term friends in the process. An alright experience overall. It was a typical Monday around 3 p.m. Our happy hour special had recently started. For those who are curious, it just means that a few select items on our menu would be discounted. It's actually a sweet deal that allows people to get a good amount of food for a fairly low price. This particular shift, I was working as a host and was in charge of directing guests to their seats. My co-worker just told me where to take them. During happy hour, a lot of our guests choose to sit in the bar despite the fact that we still seat on the second floor dining area. Enter our entitled trio. It was a group of about 7, consisting of an EG, entitled grandma, her daughter, entitled mother, and her son-in-law. female, let's call him DD, and 2 grandsons around 6 or 7, EB1 and EB2. Without even acknowledging me or my co-worker, they just walked past us and into the bar. This wasn't uncommon as the bar was open seating. At this time, the bar is packed to the gills, minus the bar top, which we don't allow children to sit at due to safety issues and public law. There was about 3 seats remaining. Perfect for the adults, right? Wrong. They proceeded to start stealing seats from other tables. The stools were quite high. This didn't stop the entitlement brigade though. They took up the entire bar top, pushing other customers so they could be comfortable. The kids in the group were barely able to fit in the chairs. Now, I'm not a confrontational kind of guy, but I do know that this won't end well. I decided to walk over to the party and tell them that they couldn't have children at the bar, even explaining our policy. This is the conversation that follows. Entitled Mum:
Then where are we supposed to sit?
Well, if you give us roughly 10 to 15 minutes, we could seat you upstairs. That's fine.
No, it's not. You just want to move us because of our race.
Excuse me?
He didn't say anything about quiet, we don't want to move. You can't make us.
If you don't move, I'll have to call security. The father finally spoke up. We'll be fine to wait. The EG and EM did not care for this, but not wanting to be kicked out, they obliged. They picked up the children who proceeded to groan. A few minutes passed and we managed to get them seated upstairs. I thought that would be the end of it. When the server in charge of them came to host stand, they were saying they wouldn't be taking care of them anymore. When I asked why, she simply just had me follow her. Feeling confused, I do so. When I go upstairs, it was a nightmare. The children were drawing on the wall. Plates were broken. The father was sitting with his hands over his face, and in the center of it all was EG and EM screaming at my manager. Apparently, they decided to complain that the table they were given, we pushed 2 separate tables of 4 together, didn't have enough space, and that the other customers wouldn't stop getting too close, going off about how we were racist and rude, demanding that they be given our private area reserved for parties of over 15 people. When my manager refuses, the EM and EG point at several other tables and claim they were harassing them and should be kicked out. Then they point at me, the guy watching all of this.
And you! I can't believe they would allow someone like you to work here.
Pardon?
You know exactly what we mean, you
racial slur. I was shocked. Now for clarity, I'm a bit of a mutt. Mixed skin tone and curly dark hair. It wasn't uncommon for people to think that I'm foreign, but not to this degree. The father just slams his hand on the table and stands up. He was done. He grabbed his kids and marched down the stairs, all the while his wife and mother-in-law yelling at him about kidnapping and being a coward. I followed him downstairs and apologized for his experience, and even gave him a free meal card. He accepted and promptly left the restaurant. It's always terrifying to see the multi-generational flow of entitlement steadily being passed down from one child to the next. So tragic, so sad. I guess half the genes in the kids are from the dad, but what do you think? Is entitlement nature or nurture? Is it kind of in the genes, or is it based on the environment you grow up in? Or maybe a mix of both? Let me know in the comments below.
Submit your story to be read on the channel at VoiceyHereStories@gmail.com and join our Voicey veteran community at r/VoiceyHere. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. Alright, Voicey veterans, I'll see you in the next one.